Good morning. This is Pastor Lyn with Goodland United Methodist Church. Happy Tuesday to you. Have you got any unfinished tasks at home? Things that you should have got done before Christmas and didn't get to? It's okay. They'll still be there for next Christmas. For the good news must first be preached to all nations. Mark 13:10. After Jesus foretold the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem, 4 of the disciples came to him and said, "When is this going to happen?" They were sitting on the slope of the Mount of Olives outside of Jerusalem. I've been privileged to stand on that very slope where Jesus looked at the city of David as he instructed his disciples. In response to their question, Jesus began a long teaching that, frankly, I have yet to fully understand. But embedded in the middle of this diatribe on the signs of the end times, Jesus makes a statement that we find in today's verse. Its meaning is crystal clear. We need no historical or cultural context to interpret. It simply communicates the reality that before the end, the gospel, the good news, must be accessible to all nations. What does that mean for us today? In a world where we have the ability to print things on a computer, we have the ability to speak to people all over the world simply by pressing the button on our smartphone. In this verse, the word nations is the Greek word ethne, from which we get the word ethnic. It means people groups. Rather than referring to geographical boundaries as we tend to think of nations, it's more contextual and local. God cares about people where they are and where they live. God desires for his radical grace to be expressed to every person on the planet in ways that are appropriate to where they are and where they live. How appropriate that, as I write this, in the nation of India, the largest members of the ethne that still do not have access to the gospel. Yesterday, I heard the ministry staff here making their presentation. I was again impressed by how serious and literally they take this mandate of Jesus. The gospel must be preached to all people groups first. Then the end will come. Do you know that task is nearly finished? Have you ever visited with a Gideon representative? Gideons are prepared to share the gospel of Jesus Christ to the entire world, and they have done so by delivering Bibles in places we wouldn't even dream of going. And we are down to less than 10% of the world not knowing what Jesus is all about by the gift of their Bibles. The task is still unfinished. You and I are sent out into our communities, our workplace, and the world to help the task be completed. Throughout this season and every day to come, we are called to share the good news of Jesus everywhere that we are sent. So I invite you, as you prepare for the year 2016, to buy an extra Bible and leave it somewhere where someone can pick it up and have an opportunity to see the Word of Christ in print. It's our job to share Jesus. Are you willing to help? This is Pastor Lyn. Go out and share God's Word.